What's on, Minifans? In this project, we're making some magnetic modular fuel storage containers. And I've made 4 of these, 2 empty, 2 with containers. As always, if you like anything in this video, please think about subscribing, helps out the channel, liking the video, and leaving comments, and I will get back to you. Alright, on to the build. The base of these containers are 2 toilet rolls. They're 9.8 centimeters high. But I want to get rid of that texture, and I don't want to use tape on these. So I've cut out 2 sections of card, just 1mm card, and they're 14.2 centimeters long, 9.8 high. And then I've measured the center line, and then done 2 lines, 2.5 mils from that, and then 2.5 mils in from either end. And then I've done another line, which is 1.5 centimeters down from the top and up from the bottom, drawn a line across. I've then cut 4 pieces of card to fit into those 1.5 centimeter sections. I then glue those 4 sections, four little card sections, onto the big piece of card, just using PVA, and I actually weight it down and let it dry. And then I glue this whole thing onto the toilet roll, just using PVA again, and I use a little bit of masking tape to hold it in place until it's dry. Next, the base and the roof. I've cut 8 by 8 centimeter chipboard squares, and I'm just using 2mm chipboard for this. And then I cut off the corners at a 45-degree angle. For this, I need to find the center of each of those squares, so I've just measured along each side halfway, then drawn lines, so I've got a cross, and then I get the diameter of the pipe, just using a ruler, and then using a compass draw a circle in the center, and I do this for each of the tiles. I actually draw smaller circles on 2 of them, but you'll see why later. To make things easier, I've made a template, and I've printed this out on 1mm card. And I cut these out and then glue them on to the top pieces. It might have been a slight mistake to do it this way. Honestly, what I should have done is drill through the chipboard and then glue the card on top. But I'd already done it, so I just carried on. I've basically measured in 5 mils from each side of the tops. Drilled a little hole with a sharp knife, and then using a pin vise, I've drilled straight through. Then I filed this, sanded any excess card and chipboard, and then the magnets fit perfectly into this. So I just glue the magnets in with super glue. was a mistake to put the magnets in already. Now it made slight issues for me later for cutting, but no worries. What I do here, because this is a door, the middle of these top sections, and I want a definite line down the center and just an outline. So I score along those lines with a sharp knife, and then using a ballpoint pen, I just kind of drag it through those scored lines to make decent indents. This bit was pretty tedious, time consuming, but what I do is cut out the rest of the sections of the template. So there's a few little sections on each one, and then I file and sand to get rid of any excess chipboard. Two of those little sections next to the base of the doors are for some kind of axle or hinge. So I've made this with just barbecue skewer, cut up into little sections, and then I super glue these into each of those. Next up, I glue some cable tie, 5mm cable ties into those two sections on each of the toilet rolls. I just use super glue to glue these on, and then snip the excess cable tie off with some wire cutters. Now for the two empty containers, I wanted something at the bottom, and I have this, I think it was a kitchen towel roll, and it fits inside the toilet rolls absolutely perfectly. So I figured this could be some kind of dock or something at the bottom. So I've covered it in 2cm strip of tape, and then I use that tape as a line to cut the roll with a sharp knife. So I do this twice. After this, I glue those two sections we've just made and the two toilet rolls onto the bottom 8x8 chipboard squares. And I just use super glue initially and then go around with PVA and wait for this all to dry. I now add the magnetic sheet to the bottom bases. The magnetic sheet is sticky one side, and it's sticky enough, I'm pretty sure it will hold. So I've just stuck it onto each of those and then trimmed it. Initially I use a knife, but then I use scissors, just cuts through so easily. So the magnetic sheet is very smooth with the exposed part, and I thought I'd better test at this point how well it will paint. So I did a test and the paint just chips off. So then I figured I could probably just sand, just using sandpaper, sand it, and it works perfectly, and it still adheres to the magnet. So this is what I did. Onto the framework around the outside. What I've done, I've made 16 10.2 by 1.4 centimeter chipboard strips, and I've made a mark 2mm up from the bottom and drawn a line across. And then I've made 16 9.8 by 1 centimeter sections as well. So the smaller section glues onto the longer section using that 2mm mark as a base, and to glue it on I just do some spots of super glue and then PVA glue. I do now is glue these T-beams onto the top and the bottom sections. And initially what I do is just wedge the pipe, the toilet roll tube end section and the top in between two paint bottles, and then put the T-beams on and super glue them around the edges. But after a while I realised I don't even need to. You just glue the T-beams on at the bottom, put the top section on, and just manoeuvre it into place and glue. And then obviously glue the top of the tube. So they're all glued together now, and I do a quick test. Two using the magnet stuck together lift up perfectly. 3 is a little bit of a push, but they definitely hold into place very well. After this, I just Mod Podge the entire thing, and then prime it black and base coat with burnt umber. For the paint job, I start by dry brushing everything silver. Then I paint the tubes a reddish brown to try and mimic my Promethean pipes. And then I paint all the outside of the T-beams black, and then do hazard stripes, so I mask it off with tape, sponge on white, and then followed by yellow. And I also do some stencils of numbers on the tops, and I put the stencil on and then sponge on white. Then I do an all-over black wash, dabbing off some of the wash on various areas. And then I follow this up with my rust, so that's sponging on burnt umber, like dark brown, waiting for that to dry, and then sponging on orange. And then as a final stage, I do a little bit of weathering with inks, so some brown and black inks in various places as stains. And that's the job complete. Here are some glamour shot photos. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I will probably end up magnetizing all my other pieces of scenery, but I won't film any of that. Alrighty, hope to see you in the next video. Cheers for now.